Okay, a transfer window, a chance to change some things.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
What's poppin', people, and welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. Welcome on in, take a seat. It's called Football Therapy, this YouTube channel, and there's a very high chance, very high chance that you, my friend, need some therapy. No, that's not a personal attack on you as a character, but the vast majority of my viewership will be Chelsea fans, and we will all be ruining the missed opportunity of the last 3 games, only scoring 1 goal, taking 1 point out of a possible 9, in 3 games where, you know, smart money might have bet for Chelsea to get 9 points, maybe 7. We only got 1, and it stinks. Oh, how it stinks. But you know what? It's a blip was always going to come. A blip. Adversity was always going to come. You know, a little bit unlucky and whatever. Like, we're absolutely not in a title race. Never were. Never will be this season, at least. But it very much is a wake-up call in terms of qualifying for the Champions League. Chelsea are still on to have what would be, it has to be considered an excellent season. Qualifying for the Champions League, let's say. Winning the Conference League, completing the trophy set. Who knows, maybe having an FA Cup run. All in, you know, the early stages of Enzo Maresca's side. But, despite spending a lot of money, not all on first team players to be played, a lot of portfolio players, as unsavory as that is, you know, the big investment, the numbers that the media throw around, is for the greater project at large. But despite, you know, that, there still needs to have some fat trims. A few players need to be addressed. Of course, I spoke at detail about Axel Disasi in my match reaction to Chelsea's loss yesterday. Feel free to go check that out. And yeah, a couple of players we need to bring in, and also I feel like the most salient, we are going to get into transfer stories here, but the most salient point being just inexperience, needing time to develop, mature, the manager as well as the players. That will come. But today we're going to reference some transfer stories, my friends. A little bit, of course, Aaron Anselmino has been recalled, which could be a big story. Ziyech Cassid, lots of people are after him. I'm going to go a little bit into an article on Football London, sort of an aggregation of what's going on, and then maybe branch out to some other stuff here. So we'll start on football.london in just a moment. Why won't that work, eh? There you go. Hey, come on. Jesus, my little stream deck. In fact, I'm very warm. The studio lights are on me, are cooking me, and I want to be comfortable chatting to you guys. So let me just get naked. Oh, it's better. For those of you who are actually hoping I got naked, I apologize. I would get banned on YouTube. Look, it's going to be okay. As I always say, we'll get there. And there's plenty of stuff to talk about. And there's always Chelsea news. And guys, if there's one channel on the whole of the YouTubes that hopefully can bring you Chelsea news quickly, concisely, with commentary, hopefully I'm the channel for you. So thank you for supporting me as always over the many years now here on YouTube. So I'll thank you as always for liking this video. Very nice. And I'll thank you for subscribing, and should you choose to subscribe, you should hit that sweet bell, baby. Yeah. Alright, plenty to get into. So we are going to start off by looking at this article by Kiernan Horn. I won't share it all with you here. I'm just going to go through some stuff off the bat. Of course, context, we know we got 1.3 games. Enzo Maresca's spoken about his side being a bit tired in general, which I'm not overly happy about, considering he's got a B team that he's been playing in Europe. You know, a luxury that's not afforded to other teams like your Arsenals, even your Tottenhams in the Europa Leagues, and of course your Cities and Liverpool's as well. You know, they're not playing B teams really. They look okay. They've done it well. But, you know, I guess you could still be tired over the congested period of the season. You know, it's been a lot emotionally. Again, when you're sort of... this adrenaline, stress, excitement, it does burn out younger players. And then when you get to I'm thinking of Liverpool, like your Mohamed Salah age and experience, you just know how to navigate a season fully. Hopefully that will come with the magnificent Chelsea boys. So the biggest priority right now in the in Football.London writes will almost be trimming the squad down. It starts off with Ben Chilwell being the first that could move on. The left back was brought into the picture after being initially exiled out of the squad. Seemingly there is no bad blood. Everyone likes Chile. Ben Chilwell's a nice guy. Look, clearly, there's been a decision made here between manager and sporting directors because he was never going to be considered to be used. I'm just going to check if I'm in focus. Is this focusing properly? I guess so. But, with Cucurella, I heard Nick Villaney on the London's Blue podcast talk about these positions recently that Cucurella has been occupying. Look at his heat map, that sort of left winger. I mean, if there's one guy who's can occupy and hold the width like that, it's bench and help with goal scoring. Ben Chilwell. But I get it. Cucurella's also been coached all season to play a certain philosophical way and have the ability to go into CDM and these pockets, which I guess, it's not Chile. Chile could invert in the final third, but he'd finish chances. It's slightly, I defer to Maresca's superior managerial knowledge over mine. Ben Chilwell's going to go, and he should. I kept saying he should go to Man United to play the left wing back and get loads of money and hang out with Mason Mount. But to be honest, telling anyone they should go to Man United at the moment feels like a horrible thing to say. It's like, what have they done to you, mate? Do you know what I mean? Why is this not working, dude? Okay, there you go. Focus, bang. Ooh, hopefully that works. Yeah, man. So I can't. Look, Chile's got to go somewhere. Europe. Look, are Atleti playing back three system at the moment? But you can play whatever, can't he? You can play left back, left wing back. Look, there should be a market for Chilwell. He's sick. He's a leader. He's a professional. He is a good footballer. I'm absolutely not the foggiest where he's going to go, so I'll be very, very interested and intrigued to find out where that is. And of course, as soon as some news comes out, you can find it here on Football Therapy, baby. Alright, Ziyech Cassid is another one, and he's been spoken about today on by Dimarzio Italiano. So this is an article that's been translated from Italian. Tutto bene, la donna beve all'acqua. It's my Italian for you there. Je parle un peu de français, mais pas trop italiano. So yes, this is a translated article, so forgive me if it sounds peculiar. Blame the Google. Torino moves on the market in view of opening in January. Great start. The first offer for Cassid, Ziyech Cassid, has been presented to Chelsea. Chelsea have received offers. They've been presented. Now, Cassid very much does have the streets in Italy, of course, from his performances and captain performances from the youth levels for the national side. Of course, we got him from the Inter Academy. He's had a bit of loan experiences and, a little bit of first team experiences. After closing 2024 on the pitch with a 2-2 draw at home with Udinese, Torino are starting to think about the January transfer market. The goal is to find continuity of results in 2025. Torino, I'm right there with you. I want that for Chelsea. Among the names being considered for the club, they're looking at Chelsea's Ziyech Cassid, who an initial offer has already been made. He was born in 2003, of course. He's made 5 appearances in the Conference League and 1 in the Carabao Cup for Chelsea. They've presented an initial offer to Chelsea with the intention of taking him outright. So a loan offer, I guess. A loan with an obligation. Or a loan with an option, but the intention. It's our intention to buy him. I don't trust your intentions. What are your intentions with my player? Yeah. Cassid, let's talk about this. Is Cassid, can we afford to lose him? The answer is yes, we can. Because the truth is, Santos is going to come back to Chelsea and he's going to play as a footballer. Funnily enough. Of course, we've got Lavia, who should one day become fit again. And even Leslie Ugochukwu, I think, was liked and considered. But I think he'll probably go as well. Provided Chelsea can make, money on Cassid, it's interesting. Also, Carney Chukwuemeka is available for transfer, but Chelsea want the full £40 million release clause to sell Carney Chukwuemeka. 40 million quid. I'm just going to check something. Just pulled up transfer marked here. So Chelsea bought him for a 15 million quid. We bought him for 15 million quid. He was an Aston Villa youth sort of player, but he's a youth product. Maybe made a couple of appearances. But 15 million quid was significant for a player that wasn't really being used. And Transfermarkt has his value as the same. It hasn't changed whatsoever. He's got a contract till 2028. So he signed a 6-year deal in 2022. I wonder if there's... was that before we were doing the super long contracts? If there's an option to extend, I'm not sure. But he... he's got 3 years left, 3.5 years left on his contract, and Chelsea have a release clause for 40 million quid. That's kind of fanciful to demand 40 million pounds for a player who simply just is not playing football, and you bought for 15 million quid, or 18 million. So anyway, not much. A nominal fee for Chelsea in the modern to ask for 40 million quid. Now, I ain't saying this guy ain't worth 40 million quid. In fact, I'm a Carney Chukwuemeka believer. I am. I believe. I do. I think he's good. I think he's unique. He's not like Loftus-Cheek in how he plays, but I always looked at Loftus-Cheek as a unique player as a midfielder because he's got a big frame. He's not as bulky as Loftus-Cheek, but he's quite tall and imposing, yet he can play in these tight pockets in the final third, in the 18-yard box, and he can combine and score. He could be a good player for Chelsea. But I get it. There's an overload in those positions. It's interesting. It's very Brighton-esque, isn't it? Just demanding a lot for a young player. I mean, we're not Brighton, we're Chelsea, so we've got a little bit more. Our players are Chelsea players. They're good. But I suppose Brighton actually earns that right to be if you buy a player off us, he's going to be good. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Carney... It's a shame it won't work for him at Chelsea because a lot of people wanted him to do well and saw great potential in him. I mean, he ain't going for 40 million quid. Who's gonna pay 40 million quid from now? I'm not saying it's so ridiculous because people laughed at us when we paid 42 million quid for Cole Palmer. A player of a similar age that wasn't probably to be fair to Palmer, he scored in the Super Cup and Community Shield and stuff, but it was still a little bit what? Do you know what I mean? So Carney, he's got talent. He could be similarly effective. But yeah, we're gonna loan him, aren't we? There's no chance we are going to spend. Someone's gonna drop 40 million pounds on Carney right now. Surely. All right, a little bit to talk about Kiernan Dewsbury Hall as well. I can't see him going anywhere this month as in tomorrow onwards. He will be utilised in the FA Cup. He will be utilised when the Conference League knockouts start. And I just don't see him being used in the Prem at all. Of course, the Chelsea manager, Enzo Maresca, been taking the criticism for not many subs. Of course, he did make subs against Ipswich. But I just don't see, unless we are winning a game comfortably, he throws Kiernan Dewsbury Hall on for a few token minutes. Go and have a run round, mate, in the Premier League. And he's not a bad player. He's a good player. Again, it's just tough when you got a lot of good players. You need really good players that start, and then you need a couple of youth players and a couple of players that can push those starters. And we do. I'd argue Joao Felix is a player like that. Even though he's not an obvious fit as a winger, I think Joao Felix can be useful in a Maresca system. I no longer think that about Nkunku. I think Joao Felix can. And of course, you've got enough wingers. Let's pretend Mudryk's not going to be banned. Mudryk, Neto, Sancho, Noni, they're all pushing each other. They can all coexist in the Chelsea first team. They can. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall doesn't represent that player, especially because you got Enzo Fernandez in that advancing pocket. You got Santos coming back, who's really, really good. Chelsea might, I don't know, I think he will go, but not this January. I think it will be a summer thing, and I think it will probably be a loan. All right, Amari Kellyman, who's looking like he's nearly fit again, is another great recent signing that should seal a temporary exit alone. Despite missing the last few months with a hamstring injury, he reported Chelsea will be looking to find him alone in the winter window. So that was always the plan. That would be very interesting. And he's done some stuff on his social media. I mean, a lot of people forgot we signed this guy. Young player, again, to remind you, I do wonder, speculate, theorise. Allegedly, it was an inflated sort of swap fee with Villa for PSR reasons, pure profit PSR reasons. Of course, they got Ian Mutson for a high fee. Didn't even know what to start for them. You know, over £40 million, which is huge. And then they got like, 15, 18 million pounds for this kid. Pure profit swapsies. I think it was a bit of a wink, sort of help each other out thing, like inflated fees. That I'm not reporting that as news. That is my speculation and thought exercise. I should say. Ooh, let's move on. Right. Okay. So yeah, big news. Fabrizio Romano, of course. Well, firstly, Gaga Slonina can be returning to West London after a loan. I mean, whatever. So Aaron Anselmino has departed Boca Juniors and is set to begin training at Cobham in the coming days, which should see provided cover. Now, the thing is with Aaron Anselmino, there is conflicting reports. Some people are suggesting he's coming back to Chelsea to be loaned to Strasbourg, but Strasbourg, of course, have got 3 loanees, including a signed player. So, there's Caleb Wiley, Santos, and Man. People are speculating, I wonder if we recall Andre Santos, and then Aaron Anselmino goes to Strasbourg and is that 3rd loan signing there. That, again, is a speculation. Though, after a certain really poor performance from Axel Disasi, people are thinking maybe we need another high-quality centre-back. He's a right-footer, Aaron Anselmino. He can play right centre-back and left centre-back. He's 19, so he's young, but he's not young. Apparently, he's very, very good. But he's been playing for Boca. He's not been playing in Europe. So what do? Do you just bring this guy into Chelsea midway through the season, this teenager who's never played in Europe and been like, save us? No, I'm being silly because our centre-back options are good. Tosin's been fun. No, I think our whole back line played like trash against Ipswich, but our back line is good. They're fine. They are fine. They've got loads and loads of teething issues to iron out, but I'm going to remove Disasi for the moment, but between, Colwell and Badiashile left centre-back, Fofana and Tosin at right centre-back, maybe an Anselmino, you bring him in and he plays in the Conference League and he settles in, and actually if they think he's that good, he helps out. It's very interesting though, but he's coming back to train. They've recalled him, so that is significant. All right, then, let's talk attackers then. Disasi ain't going anywhere. There was links of him going away. But look, I'm not going to speak about Disasi a lot. I did some posts on my social media about it. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, by the way, at FootballYannick. Pretty active on there. I did speak about him. And how the high profile... He's a good guy. He's going to be a leader behind the scenes, but the high profile mistakes... And, maybe in Conference League, you play him as a centre-back where he's supposed to play. But I don't want to see him in the Premier League. I just don't want to see him there, okay? But with players that don't fit, again, Nkunku, he's apparently not happy. His body language isn't strong. Again, it would take some, peculiar offer in, PSG... maybe contacting us and saying, look, can we do some sort of... And again, swap deals never happen, guys. They just don't happen. I think largely for accounting reasons. But you could say, if PSG contacted Chelsea and say, all right, can we swap Kolo Muani and Nkunku? I wonder if Chelsea would go, well, speak to Kolo Muani and say, would you fit into the wage structure? If he says, oui, bien sûr, yes, then I wonder if Chelsea went, all right, let's do that. But at the moment, Chelsea fans would rather seek you over Nkunku play as a striker. Now, I don't think that's a slight on Nkunku as a footballer. Again, my position remains the same. I think he's the best finisher at the club. I think he's a silky superstar in a certain way, but he's not a left winger. He's not a striker, and he looks peed off. His body language isn't great. And it's just seemed doomed to fail for months now. Even when things were going well, it was a talking point. I got loads of stick from, not a lot of you guys, but some of you viewers gave me a hard time for suggesting it might not work. And look where we are now. Again, I don't think it'll be an exit, but maybe that can happen. Of course, the whole thing with Mikhailo Mudryk might put Chelsea in a position. I think Tyreek George, is great, and I think he's going to play in the Conference League and against Morecambe in the FA Cup, and hopefully more in the FA Cup, and that will be a good experience for him, right? And as Maresca says, just training with the first team and with him will be important for him. But there might be this view that again, looking how terrible Nkunku is at left wing, Joao Felix plays more as an inside 10 when he plays there. Maybe left winger, I don't know. Let's talk about Chelsea could be tempted to sign Dani Olmo on a free transfer from Barcelona following their latest attempts to register him failed. Let me just quickly check that. Barca are just a joke, aren't they? They've got less than half a day to register Dani Olmo, I'm reading here. The deadline approaches. Should Chelsea's free transfer Dani Olmo would be amazing, wouldn't it? I mean that is because also there's talk also here about Jonathan David, of course, the Lille striker, the Canadian international. He's got 6 months left on his deal, so he can actually from tomorrow negotiate a free transfer from the summer, or Chelsea could just waive 10 million, 8 million, which is a lot for 6 months for a Lille striker. But they might, even in the middle of the season, it might be too good to turn down. Just a few million quid for him. They're trying to get him to sign a new deal, but he hasn't. So maybe. I know Jonathan David isn't everyone's favourite, but Kolo Muani, of course, we reacted to those French reports just a couple of days ago that Chelsea are trying to get him, and the people, of course, have since speculated that could be a loan with an option to buy. Of course, he's just not fancied by Luis Enrique. We'll see what happens there, but Dani Olmo on a free transfer would be pretty funny. Especially after getting Mark Gue for 5 million quid off Barca. But I don't know. He's amazing. He's really, really good. And he is a versatile attacker, but he does seem a little bit Nkunku-y, doesn't he? In terms of his position. And with that, it makes you feel like, because he's not a proper centre forward, his main position is attacking midfield. He can play left as right. So he's literally plays in the positions that, we're flushing the Cole Palmer and Joao Felix in the attacking midfield, and then we've got wingers, haven't we? Or maybe not so much a left winger, but we need a specialist left winger that can do 1v1s. Anyway, lots to get into, guys. The stories will come dripping in, or flooding in now, really, because of the transfer window open. So make sure you are locked in to Football Therapy, that you've liked and subscribed to this channel. And I do hope to see you back here very, very soon. Take care of yourselves. Peace.